Three, two, one. All yours.
Thank you for joining us today with the City of Houston's vendor Office of Business Opportunity, as well as with SCORE. Today, our panel discussion is concerning obtaining business resources to help you, one, be a knowledgeable vendor for the City of Houston, as well as become a vendor for the City of Houston. SCORE provides resources, both mentor as well as tangible resources in order for you to grow your business and sustain your business. So we have Dr. Portia Jackson here from the Office of Business Opportunity with us as a part of our panel. My name is Jada Harris, and I am a certified SCORE mentor in the areas of startup, contract management, as well as accounting, bookkeeping. So we are welcoming any questions you may have. I know that we are Facebook Live, so if you want to type some in the stream, we'll definitely follow up with you. If you want to reach out to Dr. Portia Jackson, what is your email address?
Sure, you can reach out to me at portia.jackson, so that's PORSCHA.Jackson at HoustonTX.gov. And email is the best way to connect with me also, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn if that's your thing. So.
Mm-hmm. And as a SCORE mentor, you can reach me directly by emailing me at jada.harris@scorevolunteer.org, and that's JADA.HARRIS at scorevolunteer.org. And like Dr. Jackson, it's the best way to reach me. It's probably the only way to reach me. But if you have questions about the presentation today, or just questions in general about the resources that are available to you as a vendor, city vendor, or a potential vendor, please reach out to us both on email, and we will provide that information again at the end of the presentation. It's going to be a short presentation today, just getting the nuts and bolts that are available to you. But let's go ahead and start with the first question that we have formulated for today's presentation. Dr. Jackson, what is the easiest way to become, or the first step into becoming a vendor for the City of Houston?
Sure. So to become a vendor for the City of Houston, this is for anybody who wants to do business with your city. You have to go to purchasing.houstontx.gov. And you want to go there. That's your way to register to be a vendor. Once you go to that page, you kind of scroll down, not too far, you'll see some boxes. So in that first row, I want to say the second box is going to say new user. You're going to click there, and then that's where you'll begin to fill out your vendor profile, which will also require you to download a W-9 form if you don't have one, and email it to complete your file. So once you do that, they're pretty good at getting those things processed, so maybe about 48 hours, business days, and then you'll be a city vendor once your application is complete.
Okay, perfect. And so, and I wanted to start with that because then we're going to get to the resources, but just so you know that everyone will have like a boilerplate of how to get started. But once you become a vendor, are there any other opportunities or things to make the vendor registration more lucrative for themselves, or is it just doing the registration?
Regardless of the capacity that you want to do business with the city, you have to be a city vendor. One thing I do want to point out is going to ask you to select your NIGP codes. And so those codes are important because it identifies what products or services that you provide. And so based off of that, whenever there's an opportunity, and just say if my code coincides with mowing and I'm in landscaping, anything with mowing, any opportunities, they will send me an email, because if that opportunity includes mowing, they're going to send it to me because I put in that NIGP code for mowing. You can put in as many NIGP codes as you like, but just make sure that it is relevant to what you're actually doing.
Perfect. And you can find NIGP codes online. It's Uncle Google is your friend. I always say that. So go ahead and type that into Google, and it'll pull up a search bar for you to find the NIGP codes that are related to your business, and you can drill down. There's several codes. Put as many codes that are related to your business, because that helps you be more attractive to the city of Houston as a vendor. And as Dr. Jackson stated, those make sure the codes are related to your business, because if you try to put other codes that are not related to your business, then it could prevent you from actually doing business with the city.
Yes.
Especially as we talk about getting certified as a vendor. If you put NIGP codes that are not related to your business and you try to apply for those contracts that are related to it, Dr. Jackson, you can attest to this, it's going to cause a problem.
Yes, yes. So for instance, we'll stick with landscaping. So if you're landscaping and you mow lawns and you also plant trees, of course you're going to put those codes that coincide with that. But if you sell clothes, don't put that on your landscaping business, because that doesn't coincide with landscaping.
Great, that's great. So once you're registered as a vendor, they got the NIGP codes, we talked about getting certified. Is that a difficult process?
So that depends.
Okay.
So for me, it's not a difficult process because I've been around it, right? But if you have, if filling out forms is a challenge to you, no worries. We do have a pre-certification workshop that will walk you through the process. So basically, when we're talking about certification, we certify in various areas. So the BE stands for business enterprise. So it's certified in minority, which is MBE, woman-owned, persons with disabilities, small business, which is construction only for us, disadvantaged business enterprise, airport concession, BE, and I feel like I'm missing one. But anyway, but we do hub too. And so, which is historically underutilized businesses. So if you're thinking about working with state institutions, medical center, they're gonna look for hub certified. So you'll go to our website and you'll complete certification. What certification does, it opens the door for you. So to work on these larger contracts that you may not have been able to work on because your business doesn't have the capacity to fulfill all of the requirements for that contract, but maybe there's a portion of that contract that you can do. So someone can subcontract that contract out to you. So maybe you'll do a portion. So if we're talking about landscaping, then maybe there's, am I skipping ahead?
No.
Okay. If there is a $3 million contract, landscaping contract to do something for 5 of the Houston parks, maybe you just have one lawnmower, right? So we know that you can't do all 5 of those parks, but you're saying, well, I can't do the full contract, but maybe I can mow the lawns for one of the parks. And then that's a subcontracting opportunity. So whoever has a contract, which is the prime contractor, they can say, okay, we can give you this particular park to handle, to do the mowing for it. And that's where you would come in. So when we talk about certification, all of the city's contracts that have the multi-million-dollar contracts or up and they have a subcontracting goal, it would say you have to subcontract, and I'll just throw out a number, 11% to a MBE. So that means if I'm a minority business enterprise, then they would have to sub out 11% to me. So that's where your subcontracting and your certification comes in, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to participate on that contract. But because you're an MBE, the 11%, they can sub that out to me to mow that particular park.
I remember distinctly there was, back I think it was in 2019, there was a large contract for janitorial services with the city. And they have the pre-award meetings, and which is put on by the city. Are they still doing those online now?
Some are in person and some are online.
Okay. And I will tell you, there was at least 100 vendors at that pre-award, and it was an opportunity to network. It was so if you are a subcontractor, it was a great opportunity to meet the potential primes, and vice versa, and as well as learn more about the contract. As a subcontractor, that's gold, because if you are small and you're starting out, it'll be an opportunity for you to meet with different people, and not just for the people that win the actual award, but also for other business opportunities. I can't tell you how many business opportunities I obtained from that one meeting. It was truly a blessing. But during that meeting, they provide you with detailed information about the potential contract, because at that point it's out there, but it's still working through the government channel, so it may or may not flush out. Is that correct? Okay. And then, but if it goes further than the pre-award meeting, it's a time for the individuals or the businesses, potential vendors, to meet with the pre-award administrators, who's going to be your contact. Even if you're a subcontractor, it will funnel down to you because it's part of the prime's responsibility. And we talked about this back in January. We were talking about business plans and things like that. But how important is that relationship with the pre-award administrator?
It's very important, because if we take it from the top, so you registered to be a city vendor, right? And then now you've gotten certified, so you're taking advantage. You're like, I'm ready to take advantage of those subcontracting opportunities. Like Jada said, you see a bid solicitation on that same website that I gave earlier, purchasing.houstentx.gov. This time you'll go on the second row, third column, box that says search for bids. You'll go there. Once you click that box and it says search for bids, you'll be able to see all of the current bid listings there. So if there's one for landscape, I'm just going to stick with landscape.
Understand.
If there's one for landscape, you're like, oh, I got this one mower, we got to make this work. So you're going to click on that particular bid. It's going to have also, you'll see the time, it'll be counting down how long that bid is out there. You'll also see who that buyer is. It's very important that you connect with that buyer, because that buyer is either representing the department that is putting out the bid, or they are the department. And so they know all the information about that particular bid. They are a good resource, because if you have questions, you can ask them questions. Keep in mind that there are certain time frames when the live bid is out there that you can actually make contact with them. But it does not hurt you to, while you are able to contact them, not only to ask them about that particular bid, ask them about, are there any upcoming ones? When this bid expires, or once it's awarded a contract, will it be renewed? What were the past bids? Because when you're talking about getting into government procurement, you always got to do it in business. You got to do your research. You got to know the buying patterns, who's winning the contracts, who's subbing on those contracts, who's in charge. So that is a way, as Jada talked about, building your network. That is another person you want to add to your network. If you're seeing a contract out there and the buyer's right there, that's about the closest thing you can get to. So you want to pick their brain, ask them questions, and kind of get understanding of the buying patterns and behaviors that's associated with that particular bid. And so you're going to go to that pre-bid conference or pre-bid meeting. The name is interchangeably. And so what you want to do is, one, definitely network, like Jada said, because you never know what opportunities exist for you for that particular contract or beyond. Because you just shouldn't be focusing on a government contract, like that's going to take your business, higher. You can, but you want to build your portfolio so that you're getting business from everywhere, because when somebody's not working, when things shut down, you got to keep moving and keep your business up. So you're going to that pre-bid conference, you're learning about that particular bid, you're asking questions, because before you came to the pre-bid conference, you should have already reviewed the bid, so that you can ask some intelligent questions when you're there. And you also want to see who is the prime. If I'm coming as a sub, I got that one mower, and I'm an MBE, I want to know who's the prime, who's interested in being the prime, because When that prime submits the bid to the city, whoever they're going to subcontract that work out to, they have to put that person's information there. And you always want to be on the front end of this opposed to the back end where you're trying to chase it, right? So that's why it's very important for you to be at those pre-bid conferences, passing out your card, getting your name out there, because you never know who else has other projects that they're looking for somebody on. They may be looking for that good MBE and somebody who has that mower that can come out and do something. So you want to always do that. Also, there are also other subcontractors. And just because they're subs does not mean that they don't have opportunities where they have for other subs.
Absolutely.
So you always just want to be in the mode of passing your card out, taking your capability statement. If you don't have that, SCORE has workshops on capability statements. You must go, because that is just like you go and apply for a job. If you don't have a resume, no one's talking to you. If you don't have a capability statement, same thing.
Absolutely. Oh, so much, a wealth of information. So if we just stopped here, we would definitely hit the checkbox on obtaining business resources, because we've given you one that you should definitely be reaching out to the contract administrator at pre-award. So that's one resource. Another resource is the website, the vendor website, as well as SCORE's website, where you can find webinars as well as written documentation as far as capability statements, so on and so forth. So one of the things that, and I harp on this as a mentor, is that one of the things you said was having multiple streams of income. You don't want to solely rely on one stream. So I don't know how many clients as well as mentees have come to me and say, I want to get a contract, so I'll have my business. And if you solely focus on a contract, and that's up to you, okay?
Right.
But I do know it takes about 45 days to get paid, get that first payment, right? If you submit the invoice according to the guidelines. You don't want to wait that long. There's other ways to get income. So I always tell my my mentees as well as my clients, have at least three. There's more, but at least three. You want to have business to business, business to client, and business to government. That way, in examples of a pandemic, the one avenue that had money, that was issuing money like water, was the government.
Right.
Steady.
Mm-hmm.
Other businesses were shutting down because they couldn't let people come into the brick and mortar, or they, in my instance, I was shut down for at least 30 days because I got COVID. And I was not able, I couldn't even lift my head, let alone, open a computer. So, that stream of business to business was slowed. Business to client, if you are a coffee shop, that was shut down for a good period of time. But business to government, it didn't slow, it was steady. And then they were, in the government, SBA, they were giving out funding. So our last month's workshop was about bookkeeping and financial management. And so we talked about the tools that are needed in order to apply for not just certification, but also SBA loans, is the income statement, balance sheet, things like that. So those are resources that are necessary. Can you speak to that, Dr. Jackson?
Yes. So when you are talking about doing work for the government, and so I always say that there's somebody out there who gives all this information to people, and I don't necessarily think that it's true. I don't know who this person is. I think they just blow in the wind. But when you're talking about doing business for the government, think about the government, right? The government asks you for every single thing, for everything you do. Your driver's license, wherever you go, the government wants all the information. Nothing has changed when it comes to doing business with the city or with any other government industry agency. So you want to make sure that you have your finances in order, because that's going to play a huge role in you getting the project, right? It even plays a huge role in you getting certified. We want to make sure, if we're going to certify you as a minority business enterprise, we want to make sure that we are actually certifying a legitimate business that is 51% owned and operated by a minority. So you want to make sure that you have your statements together, because that can or may not delay your process in doing business with the government, as well as getting certified. And just think about it, and I know sometimes that we talk about finance, it's like talking to students about math, right?
Yes.
Everybody cringes.
Yes.
But it's so important because if somebody wants to hire you as a subcontractor, they want to make sure that you have your stuff in order because they're putting you on this contract. And if you mess up, it blows back to them. And that's also messing up your branding. You do not want to do that. As big as Houston is, we know that it's a very small town. And when you work on government contracts, it's even smaller. So the word will get out that this person doesn't have their stuff together. And we don't want that to happen to anybody because we want all of our small businesses in whatever category succeeding. So we want to make sure that you have those resources. And there's too many resources out there for you not to have your financial statements together. SCORE has a plethora. I mean, and the people at SCORE, as far as the mentors, these folks have done it all times 12. So if you cannot, there's no reason for you not to be able to perform and have your financial statements together because there's so many resources available at no cost to you. So Houston is very blessed, and the folks who are not from Houston that are in the small business arena can tell you how blessed we are here in Houston to have all these resources at no cost. So financial statements are definitely important for everything.
Absolutely. Again, a lot of great points. Houston is the largest chapter of the SCORE national organization.
And it's an award-winning chapter.
Yes, we are. Yes. So with that being said, all of the resources that you need, and I just told my client, one of my business clients last night, start with SCORE. It's free. So he had CPA questions, which is great. My businesses, I provide contract management as well as accounting services to QuickBooks services to my clients. So he had CPA questions. I know that's above me. Okay, I know where that's still on my road. And so I do have a CPA that works with my team, but we had questions about tax strategy, retirement, things like that. He was trying to move into that direction. I said, let's start with SCORE. I personally know several individuals within SCORE that you can talk freely to, whereas if you move towards a CPA that you would want to execute some of the things that you're thinking about, you're going to have to pay for a consultation fee. Yep. You're going to have to pay for the advisement that they give you, and then actually pay for what they're going to do for you. So talking to SCORE, you can iron out all of those details and go to that CPA and say, here, I want you to do X, Y, Z. That will cost you X, Y, Z, and not, some, long drawn out, So it's a strategy that I tell my clients to do is just have those conversations, especially if you have no idea about retirement or, what tax shelters are out there. You just know that it happens. You could go to a SCORE mentor who is a CPA, and we have a lot of them, that will tell you, hey, a Roth IRA is the direction that you should go in as a business owner, so on and so forth. So that is a definite resource that you have, as well as we talk about financial statements, we have examples of financial statements on our website. So if you go to houston.score.org, you can find those resources on our resources tab. You can peruse them as you like, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever you desire. And then give us a call. We answer questions as well as you can sign up to meet with a mentor. So those are some opportunities for you. Again, the examples of the financial statements are there so you can get familiar with them. And then also, we have webinars on financial statements, how to create them, what systems, automated systems that you can use like QuickBooks in order to produce those statements more effectively and efficiently. So those are some resources. Now, with the time that we have, I want to go ahead and open it up to our attendees with any questions that you may have so far.
Well, actually, my name is Tim. I'm sorry, with the City of Missouri City, and I just want to say thank you for providing this information that I can then put out to my community so they can come back and speak with you about it.
So welcome. Thank you, Tim, for attending. And so if there's no present questions just yet, we'll go ahead and move on, and I'll go ahead and pull up, just so I like to give visuals because I know that people have different learning styles. We have a Browse the Libraries tab on our SCORE, houston.score.org website. And as you can see, one of the first resources that is on the page is the startup checklist. So if you are interested in starting a business, and if you're interested in becoming a vendor, this is a great place to start. It outlines all of the information that is needed in order to start a business, and it definitely correlates into becoming a vendor for the city of Houston because, like Dr. Jackson said, you have to be established as a business before you can become a vendor. And I know, some of you might laugh and say that just is logical, like you should be established, but there's plenty of people, I'm sure, that have knocked on your door and said, that has not even a sole proprietorship, not even a DBA, and said, hey, I want a contract.
Right.
So the importance of a checklist is there. We have all of the information if you need information about trademarks, business plans. Like I said, that was one of our first panel discussions this year that we went in depth and as to why a business plan is needed and how to get started with it. Like finances, people hear business plan and they're like, no. But we have tools and resources on here to get you started with it. A lot of people think that it has to be a book, or 15 pages, or 30 pages, and it doesn't have to be that long. It could be a short business plan. Do you look for business plans in the vendor process? I don't think so, but
no.
It's important, right?
No, we don't look for the business plans in the vendor process, but yes, it is important because you got to take your business seriously. And so you want to have a plan as far as what your strategy is and how you're going to operate your business, especially if you're coming in and you're trying to do work for somebody else. No one's going to be out there handing just work out to people who have an idea. They want to know that you're established and that you're serious about it. And then you just never know, because I can tell you a bunch of stories about people who they had started their business, maybe only had like 1 or 2 clients, but they were so serious about their business and they met the right person, and that person helped them, they mentored them, and now they're doing tremendous work, right? And you would know that they really just started their business a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely important to have that business plan. Mm-hmm. And also when you're thinking about if you need funding, they're going to tell you ask you what your business plan is. So you want to make sure that you have your business plan so you know where you're going, and somebody asks you questions about your business, you can
rattle it off.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if you're looking for funding, they're definitely going to ask you, so can we see your business plan? You don't want to say, well, let me go talk to SCORE and I come back.
Well, and that's true, right? And that takes time, right? You don't. Sometimes there's pressure with time, and you don't want to wait too late. But that was a good point that you mentioned, that the city of Houston is not looking for your business plan, but you definitely need it for financing. And where that comes to play with the city of Houston and contracts is, and I've seen this happen, is that say you're a bakery or you manufacture a widget or something to that effect. When you want to grow and create or meet the demands of the city of Houston's contract, you're going to need funding. And we just, in our SCORE meeting today, just talked about, what it takes to, apply for that funding, whether it's through a traditional bank or through alternative funding. It takes a lot. And in both scenarios, you need a business plan. Even if you go to an angel investor, I dare you to walk up to them and say, give me $100 because, I think I'm, have the best widget in the world. And they're probably going to say no, initially. But if you give them a plan, even if it's a 2-sentence elevator pitch, that's magnificent. They may give you that $100, right. But it's to be prepared. And so I know I've heard scenarios where businesses had to meet the contract's needs, especially when it comes to goods. Can you give us a scenario or experience that you have with that?
I guess I can say that first of all, the city buys so much, right? Sometimes people just think, oh, it's just construction. No, think about all of the different folks in the city. You know, we have employees, right? So many HR and all that good stuff. And so there are opportunities on the contract where, just say there is a contract out for something and they may need supplies. They may need hammers, you know?
Right.
And you can supply those hammers. So there's always opportunities for, based off the goods that you have, be able to provide those. And a lot of times that's where our small businesses can really come in and be subcontracting, and especially that's why it's important for you to get that certification, because I didn't say in the beginning, but with that certification, if there is, we'll go back to the MBE on there, if you are not certified by the city for the MBE, that does not count. So the probability of you being selected as a subcontractor, if you have a certification from another agency, is going to be less, because that person who has a contract with the city, the prime, gets credit for someone who's certified by the city. That's why it's important for you to be certified for the city if you're looking to do business with the city in whatever role. And so being a supplier is a great way to come in and to participate on those contracts. Then you can use that in your capability statement to say, hey, I work on a city contract, and maybe that contract was like $10 million, and maybe you only supplied $1,000 worth of hammers. You don't have to tell all that, but you work on you work on the contract, and that helps you to build your capacity and to build your rapport when you're going out there and networking with people, because you have that experience in working with that, and make sure that as each thing that you're doing, you're adding those companies to your network. You should always be about building this business network, because that's the only way you can succeed in it. And so whatever company you're being a sub for, make sure that you're building a relationship with them, because you never know when they might need hammers again, you know? So I said I was sticking to mowing.
It's okay. We can use hammer. Sometimes you gotta hit that lawnmower with the hammer to make it work. I don't know, you know. But good. Let's again, great points. Let's peel back just a little bit. Hire Houston first. Does that have any play in the vendor registration or City of Houston?
Yes, it has play in the process. So again, the vendor registration, you can't get past that. That's always going to be your first step. But Hire Houston first, it's a designation. So just say that there's a contract out, a landscaping contract, and it's between you and I. Okay. You're from Houston, your business is in Houston, my business is in Beaumont. All things equal, we're the last two people for that contract. She's Hire Houston first. You're going to get the contract, even if just say you're a tad bit higher than I am, your price is, you'll get the contract because you have the designation of Hire Houston first. You're local, opposed to me being in Beaumont.
As well as, because we're a mega city, we are, you're competing with people all over the United States that are coming here to do business here, to do business in Houston. So getting that designation as Hire Houston first, which I have that too, it makes you more attractive and allows you to be competitive against people all over the world. So that's an amazing feature that the city has. So as we talk about relationships, that's what it's all about, it's relationships, right? That's what business is all about. Marketing, that's another opportunity for you to get your business and your brand out there.
And that's, people cringe about marketing.
Yes, yeah.
You gotta pay for it.
You got to. Some way, you know, whether it's social media, whether it's, I'm an in-person, you know, so during COVID, I thought I was just going to, you know, my business was just going to evaporate, because I like to go shake hands, I like to explain my business, I like to talk to people, but actually it was a blessing, it was an overflow during COVID, because people were looking for the resources necessary to stay afloat. So with marketing, you know, there's, you know, like we said, there's different ways to do it, but you got to have a plan. And we do have that resource on our SCORE website for you to develop a plan, because I'm not a social media person. I hate to say that, because, you know, I'm not a millennial, but I'm not that old school either, but I'm kind of in the middle, but I'm not a social media person. But there's other ways to reach people, but you got to know how and when and what resources are available to you.
And with that too, you have to, when we're talking about establishing your business, your website is golden, because people, you may be able to tell them, oh, here's my business name. They're going to go to that website to really see if you're a business. And if you don't have a website as a business, please get one.
Yes.
Because people are verifying that. I can tell you, I can say this. So there have been times where people have called us and wanted to possibly look to do business with someone. And keep in mind too, not all the opportunities with the city of Houston are available for bid. There might be some lower, something maybe under $3,000 somebody can purchase with a P card. And they're saying, maybe I'm looking for somebody who can trying to buy hamburgers, for the office. And they go to the
landscapers
website.
gotta eat,
Yeah, the landscapers gotta eat. And so they might be looking, and if they look and there's no website, I'm not gonna pick that person because I can't see what you're doing. And we are now in this digital world that before website, whatever, we might go word of mouth. Word of mouth still travels. But we're going to that website to validate that you are actually in business. And that I can say has kind of counted some people out, I've seen, in opportunities because they didn't have a website or they just had a web page. It was just something there. And it didn't tell any information. And so you want to make sure that you have a website. There's plenty of websites you can get for free.
Absolutely.
And then you all have all the resources to
Absolutely.
assist them with that. So
yeah, and you could talk to a SCORE mentor about social media and websites and all that good stuff. So even if you don't know what direction to go, we have people that you can talk to for free about these opportunities.
Go ahead. And another thing is when you're a certified firm with the city of Houston, we have an open directory. So it's a live directory. So anytime you just get your certification, you're included in that directory. I get calls all the time from people from different states who are looking for firms that are certified. They might be looking for a woman-owned firm, minority-owned firm, whatever. And so being certified gives you that opportunity. But they're also checking your website. They will call and say, in your directory there was this person, but there's no website for them. Are they still a legitimate business? And I'm like, yes, they are in the directory, because they're in the directory. We can verify them and certify them as a legitimate business. But on the back end, you're losing out if you don't have that website and you don't, participate in the marketing efforts.
Yeah.
So
the website is definitely your digital business card. If you can put that into your perspective, and it also allows you to expand on who you are as a business and expand on your brand, allows you to collaborate with others. It's a great opportunity. So thank you for sharing that with us, Dr. Jackson. We are coming to a close now, but I do want to mention, again, the City of Houston is a resource, SCORE is a resource, but we also have other resources available to us, like HCC, who has provided the space and opportunity that we have here. You can find a plethora of information. I think last month you mentioned there was a lot of resources that were available, even at free and above, for entrepreneurs in their entrepreneurship program, as well as the classes and the certification in the HCC certification. And when I'm pointing to our on-site director, Robbie. We want to let you know that that's a resource. And then also, don't forget about the library. It is a mega resource that you can use to find information about your competitors, about your potential customers, about the area that surrounds you. And the librarians are always a resource for you with the resources that they have in-house. So we thank you for joining us today for this panel discussion. It is a monthly panel discussion with the City of Houston and SCORE, where we'll bring valuable topics and information to you. We're meeting here at the HCC location so that we can give in-person as well as online information. We want to be a resource to potential vendors as well as existing vendors of the City of Houston, and as well as mentees and clients of SCORE. So again, thank you for joining us, and we hope that you will join us again next month.